Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to talk about how to take your crypto from just, sitting there and turn it into an asset that's actually working for you. We'll be zeroing in on Ethereum and how you can stake it to build up some passive income. So let me ask you a quick question. Is your ETH just hanging out in a wallet right now, kind of collecting digital dust? Maybe you're hodling for the long haul. And hey, that's a totally solid strategy. But what if that same Ethereum could be doing more?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're going to look at how you can put that ETH to work for you and turn a passive holding into something that's actively generating rewards. And this brings us right to our first section, uncovering the hidden potential that's already in your Ethereum. It's really about changing your mindset from just owning crypto to actually participating in the network.
You see, the whole idea here is that staking is an active role. So instead of just holding and hoping the price goes up, you're actually contributing to the security and the health of the entire Ethereum network. And for that, well, the network rewards you. It's pretty cool. So what even is staking? I know it can sound a little technical, maybe a bit intimidating, but the main idea is actually surprisingly simple when you break it down. At the heart of it all is this system called proof of stake. Think of it like this. You agree to lock up some of your ETH. That's your stake, and it acts kind of like a security deposit. That stake gives you the right to help check new transactions and add them to the blockchain. And when you do your job correctly, you get a reward, paid out in, you guessed it, more ETH. Now, what's really interesting here is how different this is from the old system, proof of work, which you probably just know as mining. Mining was like this crazy brute force race where computers burned unbelievable amounts of energy solving puzzles. Staking is a whole different ballgame. In fact, when Ethereum switched over, its energy use dropped by over 99%. It's not a race anymore. It's more like a lottery. Your staked ETH is like your lottery tickets. The more you have in the game, the better your chances of being picked to validate the next block and snag that reward.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is the stuff you absolutely have to understand before you even think about jumping in. The potential rewards, the very real risks, and what you'll need to get started.
So let's look at both sides of the coin. The rewards are pretty obvious, right? You earn more ETH, you help make the network more secure, and you support decentralization. But, and this is a big but, you have to weigh that against the risks. First, the price of ETH can go up and down, a lot. Then there's something called slashing. That's basically a penalty where you could lose some of your staked ETH if your validator messes up or goes offline. And finally, your ETH is often locked up for a while, meaning you can't just sell it whenever you want. So you're probably asking, okay, what kind of rewards are we talking about? Well, the annual percentage yield, or APY, is always changing. It really depends on how much ETH is being staked across the whole network at any given time. A number like 3.8% is a pretty realistic example, but you gotta remember, this is not a fixed interest rate. It's constantly in flux. And what do you need to get in the game? Well, the basics are pretty simple. You need some ETH, a secure wallet, and of course, an internet connection. Now, how much ETH you need and how much tech savvy you have to be, that really depends on how you decide to stake. And we're going to cover that next. Okay, so this brings us to the really practical part, the different ways you can actually stake your Ethereum. There's no single best way. It all depends on how much you have to invest and how comfortable you are with the tech side of things. So basically, you've got two main paths. There's solo staking. This is for the serious players. You need deep technical knowledge and a whopping 32 ETH just to get started. But you're your own boss and you keep all the rewards. For everyone else, there's pooled staking. This is way more accessible. You join your ETH with other people's, the minimums are super low, and a service handles all the tricky tech stuff for you. The trade-off? They take a small cut of your rewards as a fee. And this brilliantly illustrates how simple the process can be at a high level. No matter which route you take, it all kind of boils down to 3 simple steps. First, you choose your method, solo, pooled, maybe through an exchange. Second, get your wallet ready with the ETH you plan on staking. And third, you just follow the instructions on your chosen platform to deposit your ETH and get the process started. So, as we start to wrap things up, let's just zoom out for a second. Staking isn't just some new feature, It really represents a massive shift in how we think about earning money from digital assets.
So the crucial point is, what should you really take away from all this? Well, first, staking puts your idle ETH to work. Second, it's a way to secure the network and get rewarded for it. Third, those rewards come with very real risks you need to understand, like slashing and price swings. And finally, remember, you've got options. You can go it alone or join a pool. Which leaves us with one final, really interesting question to think about.
As this whole digital world keeps growing and evolving, is staking basically becoming the new savings account for the digital age? It's a pretty powerful idea, and it's definitely changing how we see ownership and earning.